A lot of the hate of the Doom 3 shotgun is motherfuckers that just aren't willing to accept the meta of the game. And, you know, it's weird to see because Doom 3 is closer to the original, Doom specification than Doom 1 and 2 were. And yet that's the one everyone hates. And it's like, at its worst, it's identical to 1 and 2. Yes, 1 and 2 had the little monster closet bullshit, spawn enemies behind you, this, that. They're super fucking dark. Doom 2 is ridiculously dark. Nobody thinks that now because they're used to source ports that make everything way brighter, changing how the lighting works, and then you get like gamma settings and all this bullshit. That it wasn't like that on release. If you play a proper software mode that's actually accurate, or play it in DOSBox, it looks way different. I mean, Doom 2 had night vision goggles, for fuck's sake, right? So, like, what exactly did Doom 3 do that was so bad, right? I think the main thing is it was slower. I think it's really a lot to do with it. But everybody hates Doom 3. Everybody loves 2016 and Eternal, and yet if you know how to play Doom 3, you can make the game look a lot like that. So I'm always bouncing around, sprinting around, blasting shit right as it spawns. And, people say that the Doom 3 shotgun sucks, but that's just part of what the gameplay was intended to be, just like the flashlight. Right? It's like BFG is as terrible as it is because everyone sucks. They want the game to play like a game they want to play and not just accept that's how the game is and go play something else or whatever. Like, I remember that. It's like like I heard that on something I watched recently. It's like a couple days after the game came out. The very first mod was a duct tape mod. Well, dude, I'd already beat the game by the time it came out, if that's the case. Because I had it day one of release. I played the shit out of that fucking game. Even then, I never understood that. It's like, dude, it's part of the design. But people criticize the shotgun and having to run up into enemies or, use it as a melee weapon or, like, whatever. And yet, that's the whole point of how the game is laid out. Everything's tight corridors. It's dark. You pretty much always have a chance if you see something, the flashlight, to switch to the shotgun or whatever. But it was designed with that in mind. And then people put duct tape mods or play BFG or whatever where you can see shit way easier, and they're trying to use the shotgun in ranges it wasn't designed for, and then they say the shotgun sucks. It's like, no, you're playing it wrong, right? Or, as some would, say, skill issue. I think a lot of people just don't really take the time to try to figure out how the game is meant to be played. And I found one guy that put a video up recently. He was showing it. He shows how I've used the shotgun for 22 years, since I was 13 fucking years old. That was one of my favorite parts. You just sprint up into their face, right, and just blast them. And you do move slower overall, and you do have limited sprint. But the thing is, the sprint meter is pretty generous. If you know how to bunny hop correctly, you can save a lot of that stamina. And then on top of that, there's tons of those like infinite stamina things sitting around, whatever they call them. But for a certain period of time, you can sprint as long as you want. Those are all over the place. So you shouldn't really be running out of stamina much anyway. And then on top of that, jumping doesn't affect stamina. So you actually have a lot more maneuverability than it would seem like on the surface, which is also kind of funny because, John Carmack notoriously hates bunny hopping. It's like, imagine not understanding your player base like that. And, one of the things that's been agonizing me with Doom 3 is how many invisible walls there are. There's so many different shortcuts I could take. So I could try to rocket jump across a bridge, invisible wall, right? I try to rocket jump up to a, different level, invisible wall. There's even invisible walls on shit that there's really no reason for it to be there, right? It's like there's nothing to gain going back there, or like, it's just like, dude, just let me explore, right? And it's like, why are developers so like hostile to the idea of motherfuckers having fun in a video game, right? John Romero has his like Doom or not Doom, but like level design Bible or rules or whatever the fuck it's called. I sort of have my own level design Bible, and that's one of my big fucking commandments or whatever. Is don't fucking use invisible walls, right? What I hate about it is a lot of these circumstances, they could have just put a fence there or something. And it's like, all right, well, at that point, like, even if it's lame, at least at least I can see it, right? I mean, even Painkiller does shit like that. But even with a gimped movement, you still have a lot more maneuverability than you might expect given the pacing of the game. The default movement speed, the tone of the game, and your expectations might be moving slow, but I mean, you can move pretty fast. But like this guy showed what I do, and it's like you can one shot imps while they're spawning. Commandos, revenants are actually pretty easy to one shot most of the time that they spawn in. And that's one of the things I always loved about the game. You walk in a room and the pentagrams start forming, right? And you just start playing like pentagram whack-a-mole. You just run up to each one, wait for them to spawn. As soon as they spawn, boom, right? And they're done. And just, one shot everything that spawns. But then there's also something he showed that I would do as well, where you can, dance with Hell Knights and shit like that. So enemies where you can't just one shot them with the shotgun, they still don't take that many shots, especially if you land headshots. And so, like with Hell Knights, they're not that difficult to just sit there and kind of, shuffling back and forth and just, decimate them with the fucking shotgun. And it sort of reminds me of the flashlight. Something I watched was talking about damage with like the flashlight. That's another thing about the game. So as I had mentioned, you're a lot more maneuverable than you think. If you really understand how to use the shotgun, it's extremely effective. It's just, it looks bad if you're playing it with all the alterations that were made with BFG that don't understand what the point of the game was. But one of the aspects of the flashlight, all that stuff, and how important sound is. Well, yeah, let me make that point first. So a lot of times, so there's plenty of light sources. A lot of enemies, their stuff will create light. You can see their eyes. Some of them they like predate TF2 with the visual design, right? Like a lot of the enemies have distinct silhouettes, or even like the difference between an imp and a wraith or a maggot. You can tell not just by the color of their eyes, but how they move as they're like coming towards you. And then, the sound stuff and all that. But a lot, something else is that your gunshots actually create light, at least in vanilla. Now, apparently they took that out of BFG. So that's another missing the point thing. But then another aspect of the flashlight mechanic, aside from the suspense and kind of facilitating the intended gameplay, the flashlight not only does, so your fists do more damage than the pistol, but the flashlight does more damage than your fists. So I was just reading about it earlier, so I remember the values. But the pistol is like 12 or 14 damage per shot. Your fists do 20. Okay, but the flashlight does 40. So pretty much every zombie in the game, you can bonk them to death with 2 or 3 hits, right? And you can do that with them. Sort of like, dancing with the Hell Knight with the shotgun. You can dance with the zombies. You just kind of moving in and out, whacking them with the fucking flashlight. And it's also fun too. Sometimes you like whittle down an enemy, and like the kill shot you get with the fucking flashlight, and then they fucking jib, right? That's always fun. But like there was clearly a lot of thought put into the interplay between the tight, level design, the darkness, the flashlight, the shotgun, all of it goes together to create the cohesive experience. And bullshit like BFG and stupid duct tape mods totally missed the fucking point. But that's most of the complaints as far as I could tell. Right? It's like skill issue. They just don't want to get good with the way the shotgun's meant to be used. And then another part of that is them playing BFG or whatever, and they're able to see enemies at distances that they shouldn't be able to. But, if you use the shotgun as intended, I would say maybe not the best, but definitely one of the best shotguns in a video game ever. And I sort of get tired sometimes of these popular channels that just spoon feed motherfuckers their opinions, right? Like, they don't want to watch a channel just to see what someone else thinks about the game. They want to show up to be told what to think about it. And like, even Civvy wanted to bitch about the shotgun in Doom 3, right? There's so many channels talking about, the Doom 3 shotgun sucking. It's like there's these, it's like if you want to be accepted into these humans and their little fictional prison society fucking subcultures, you have to regurgitate, the official narrative. And it's always bullshit like that. No thought put into it. Most of the time they couldn't even tell you why, right? They don't like the Doom 3 shotgun. Blood 2 sucks. Daikatana sucks, right? It's like, but they're not going to say why. And if they said why, the best reason they'd have is, oh, Civvy said so, right? And, Blood 2 doesn't get the credit it deserves. And lots of people have quoted it. Even Civvy did on his Blood 2 video. And you can still find archives where you can read the full interview that you get the quote about the development from, that's recited on most videos. Nothing in it says it though, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the reason GT Interactive wanted to rush out Blood 2 is because Half-Life came out. Now, nobody could have known that Half-Life would be the sensation that it was, but you could already tell that it was popular real fast, right? Blood 2, what probably destroyed its reputation, other than GT basically forcing them to ship it half finished, which is not a fault of Monolith or the game, it's a fault of the publisher, was the fact that it came out 6 days after Half-Life. And, humans are idiots, so it's like, wow, if one game comes out before another good game, that means the other one's bad. Because, they just have brain terrorism like that. They're just retarded. I don't understand why it would matter. Because, it's like 2004. You know how many fucking amazing games came out in 2004? Right? Far Cry, Doom 3, Half-Life 2, all these fucking games. It's like 2002 to like 2007 was the peak of, PC first-person shooters. What the fuck would it matter when it came out? I mean, 98 was really good too. I didn't have a PC or any PC at that point. Plus, I was like 7 years old. But, motherfuckers just, I don't think they really think about it. They just have to say that it sucks because, well, that's what everyone else said. A lot of stuff is kind of like stupidly effective, right? It's like the ultimate gas hands and Daikatana, right? Like, yeah, it's fucking retarded, but it's like the most effective weapon in the fucking game. You like one punch, like fucking almost everything with it. And that's basically how everyone treats the Doom 3 shotgun is, oh, it's like, the ultimate gas hands and Daikatana. But, a lot of times nobody just wants to accept the meta of the game. And yeah, I don't know. The shotgun in Doom 3 is good. If anybody wants to admit it or not. I'm almost at 15 minutes, so I'll just do another